cells. They can build living organisms like us, or they can be the living organism like a bacteria. Either way, cells are filled with organelles designed to carry out important cell functions. In this session, we are going to look at one of the most important structures of the cell, the cell wall. The first thing you should know about the cell wall is that not all cells have walls. Only certain type of cells like the plant cells, fungal cells and the bacterial cells have a cell wall. I know what you're thinking. Why don't an animal cell have a cell wall? To understand why an animal cell does not have a cell wall, let's understand why a plant cell has one in the first place. Consider this. It's a warm, nice evening and suddenly the weather turns rough. Rain, thunder, lightning. At such times, animals can usually find a shelter to hide, but not plants. They cannot move to take a shelter. They have to stay where they are. In such situations, a delicate cell membrane would simply not give the plant cells enough protection. And that's why plant cells have a cell wall. This rigid outer layer protects the plant cell from the outside environment. Since an animal can easily move to a safe place, animal cells do not require an extra covering of the cell wall outside their cell membrane. The cell membrane is good enough to protect the animal cells from any unforeseen environmental conditions. Now, think about why fungal cells might have a cell wall. Yep, they are also generally stationary. That's why. Then what about bacteria? We all know bacteria move. Well, unlike higher animals like us, the environment in which a bacteria lives is very, very unfavorable. That is why having a cell wall is necessary for them. We know the cells are living. But is the cell wall of cells living? What do you think? I'll help you out. Actually, the cell is living, but the cell wall is non-living. This is because it is formed majorly by deposits of some molecules. In some cases, like the plants, the molecules are cellulose. In case of fungal cells, the cell wall is made up of chitin. And in bacterial cells, the wall is made up of peptidoglycan. The cell wall is always present outside the plasma membrane and it acts like a rigid wall. An interesting feature of a plant cell wall is that it is freely permeable. This means that it allows movement of various molecules like the water, gases and minerals quite easily across the layer. From whatever you have seen so far, I am sure you can now tell the functions of a cell wall. We have already discussed that it is a tough layer, so this means that it will provide rigidity and shape to the cells. Since it is freely permeable in plant cells, it allows various substances in solutions to enter and leave the cell without hindrance. Lastly, we also discussed that the cell wall is very essential in providing protection during unfavorable conditions. I am sure today has been an interesting session with all the facts that you learnt about the cell wall. Here is a quick recap of what we covered today. Plant, fungal and bacterial cells have a cell wall. Animals don't have a cell wall because they can move. The cell wall in plants is majorly composed of cellulose. In fungi, the cell wall is made up of chitin. In bacteria, the cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. The cell wall is rigid and freely permeable in plants. It is the non-living part of a cell. Cell wall provides protection, shape and rigidity. I hope you enjoyed this session. Keep learning and I'll see you next time.